All right, so if you're deep in the world of Azure Application Gateway, you know that getting things just right, I'm talking about control and performance, is absolutely everything. Well, a pretty big update to V2 has just dropped, and it gives developers like you a powerful new choice in how the gateway talks to your backend servers. So let's dive in and see how this all works.
It sounds like a simple question, doesn't it? But the answer has this huge ripple effect on performance, on how you manage resources, and even on how your application behaves. For the longest time, there was really only one way it worked, but that has all changed. Let's start with the way things have always been.
So, to really get why this new feature is such a big deal, we first have to rewind and look at the default behavior. This is the classic out-of-the-box setup that's been the standard for years, and it was designed with one main goal in mind: pure efficiency.
Okay, so here's the core idea. The gateway is designed to be incredibly smart about its resources. Instead of the hassle of opening a brand new TCP connection for every single request and then closing it right after, it keeps a pool of connections open and just reuses them whenever it can.
Now, you might be asking, why do this? Well, it's all about optimization. Constantly setting up new TCP handshakes is expensive, both for the gateway and for your servers. By reusing connections that are already open, the gateway saves its own resources and, maybe more importantly, it takes a huge load off your backend servers. It really is a win-win for overall efficiency. I think the best way to picture this is to think of a highway. You've got multiple cars, but they're all sharing the same few lanes. So client A comes along, and the gateway opens up a lane to server X. A second later, client B shows up. The gateway sees that that lane to server X is free, and boom, it sends B's request on the exact same connection. It's a many-to-many relationship. Many different clients can end up sharing a smaller number of back-end connections.
But what if you don't want to share lanes? What if your application absolutely needs a direct, isolated line of communication? Well, this is where the new feature comes in, and it gives you a whole new level of control by offering a fundamentally different way to connect.
The new option is actually beautifully simple in its concept. Instead of all that sharing, it provides dedicated one-to-one communication, and this completely changes the relationship between a client's request and the connection on the back end. To put it really simply, when you flip this switch, every single client connection that hits the gateway gets its very own, distinct, brand new connection to a back-end server. There's no sharing, no reusing, just a clean, direct line from that one client to the back end.
So now we have these two very different models, right? We've got the super efficient default, and we've got this new isolated, dedicated option. Let's put them side by side to really hammer home the trade-offs you're making when you pick one over the other.
This slide just lays it all out perfectly. On the left, you've got the default model, which is all about resource optimization. It does that by reusing connections, which creates that many-to-many flow. Then, on the right, you have the new dedicated model. Its whole focus is on connection isolation, guaranteeing that perfect one-to-one mapping. So let's go back to our analogy. If the default setting is a shared highway, this new option is like giving every single car its own private road. Client A comes in and gets a dedicated road built straight to server X. When client B arrives, the gateway doesn't look for an empty lane. Nope. It builds a completely new, separate road to another available server, let's say server Y. This makes sure that client B's traffic never, ever touches the same TCP connection as client A's. Okay, so we've seen the what and the how. Now for the most important part of this whole explainer, the why. How on earth do you decide which one of these is right for you and your specific application? And here's the thing. There isn't a single better option. It's a strategic choice, and it all comes down to what your app needs. You have to decide, do you want to optimize for resources with that classic connection reuse? Or do you absolutely need to guarantee that each connection is completely isolated? That isolation can be critical for things like sticky sessions or certain stateful applications. And that really brings us to the final question you should walk away with. Take a hard look at your architecture, your protocols, and your performance goals. What does your application truly demand? Is it the broad efficiency of that shared highway, or is it the guaranteed purity of a private road for every connection? The choice is now yours to make.